Ladies and gentlemen, to Storytelling 101. I am your facilitator, Laura Moritz. And if anybody is watching this out there, well, welcome to our world. So let's start by talking about varying narrators' perspectives. The first one, I would be lying if I said I was keeping a storytelling journal or am using the same story over and over again. When she says, now refer back to that story. Her first question is there one point of dynamic tension in your story between the two forces? How can you use this tensiveness between the lines of force to build an emotional arc of your story? And I was thinking about that because I do have a story that when she says, okay, now go back to the story that you would tell. And some of you have heard the story that I told my children called The Monster and the Teddy Bear. And I was talking to my public speaking class today about telling a children's story, but from a different point of view. Remember, I told you guys last week that I was thinking about doing that. And so we're doing it. And so I told the story of the monster and the teddy bear. And I felt myself storytelling like her. And I was like, this is very bizarre. You know, like I was like, you know, I was doing the hand motions and I was changing my voice and getting really excited. And it was so awkward, but cool in the same sense that I've picked up on quite a few things that she has instructed us in. And so I was thinking about this tension between the two forces. The story is the story about it's called The Monster and the Teddy Bear. Right there, Greg Trotter.
On camera.
That's the hot seat.
Yay! Greg is here. You look so nice. There you are. Yeah, pop up that laptop so we can see your head floating over it. Welcome. Hi, Greg. So anyway, it's a story that I tell, and there's a point where the teddy bear kind of confronts the monster. And there was this moment of tension in between the teddy bear and the monster. And I was like, wow, like really there's something there. I think it really has to be in the middle of telling a story. You know, like it doesn't happen in class.
So did you vary your perspective?
So, well, I delivered the whole story from the third person. You know how she talked about the third person point of view, but really having a feeling towards one of the characters, and really, so truly when I tell the story, it's in third person, but it's from the teddy bear's point of view. And so then I talk to my students, I'm like, what would it be like if we told this story, this same exact story, but from the monster's point of view? And so then we started brainstorming, well, you know, the teddy bear like climbs down the ladder, goes across the field into the blueberry patch, picks blueberries, across the road again, up into the treehouse and bakes a blueberry pie, right? Well, if the monster was watching this, he would just watch the teddy bear come over and go across, and he'd, you know, maybe see him in the blueberry patch and then watch him go back and then wait.
Staff. Following teachers need to complete their attendance and save it in the campus for today. Ian Ahern, Jill Hopper, Jeannie
It
Kruger,
must have been everybody.
Betsy Loda, Aaron Merritt, Jim Moore and John Thurman. Once again, the following teachers need to complete their attendance and enter the campus and save it. Ian Ahern, Jill Hopper, Jeannie Kruger, Betsy Loda, Aaron Merritt, Jim Moorhan, and John Thurman. Thank you very much and have a great day.
It's okay. We could revisit it over and over again. You should just snip it and like program. So when it goes instead of da na na na, it's like Aaron Marin. That's all it says. But we talked about, okay, well, if the teddy bear was telling this, or the monster was telling the story, how would it look different? Because eventually the monster steals the teddy bear's blueberry pies, and it would talk about why he steals the pies, you know. And so we kind of did some brainstorming, but it was a really good way to kind of introduce them to point of view and telling from a different point of view. And so they are brainstorming a list of the stories. So like one of my senior boys, Danny Henderson, is going to do The Lion King. He's going to tell that story, but from Scar's point of view, as opposed to a third party voice or whatever, third person. So I don't know. I thought it was an interesting moment in my teaching.
So is that what they're doing, is telling?
So they're going to be
Tale?
telling a children's story. So it could be a children's movie they know really well, or a fairy tale, or a biblical story that they know, or a story that's familiar to everyone, but telling it from another point of view. So now I could go back and I could tell the monster and the teddy bear from the monster's point of view, and they could see the difference. But I'd have to.
So they're having to
Right.
adapt the story a little bit
Oh,
to
yeah.
shape like the perspective
For sure.
in
For
which
sure.
they're telling.
So like telling the Lion King from Scar's point of view would probably be a lot of anger and
Yeah, menacing.
should be interesting. Should be good. I don't know. I think it'll be, but I told them this is gonna take a long time, and I'm having them storyboard it like you said, so that there's a sweet free storyboarding thing that Greg and I found that's awesome that they're going to use to do the actual images for the speech.
Are they gonna use them while they give the
Mhm.
speech? Cool.
That's going to be their, not triggers, but their prompts. Yeah.
You're in here.
I don't know. Why does she have teacher's keys? She's a student.
No, we have food drive boxes. Is that
Yeah, just drop one in.
okay?
Thank you. There will be nothing collected in that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't do that.
I thought you used to beat Harmon's or Spice or whatever.
No, I did Warrior Week.
Oh.
I collected money for Warrior Week. So her next question is, some stories are satisfying in the end, like chocolate cake, and others like bitter coffee. What's one thing you need to consider in order to end your story in both a satisfying and safe way for your audience? I kind of adapted that and I said, how do you bring a satisfying resolution to your classes? Because I think oftentimes class ends and I'm like, okay, we'll see you later, and I don't really sum up everything that we've dealt with in the hour.
So in math, we're often trying to show that you can use more than one way to solve a problem. In fact, it's a huge part of Common Core, and as in science, we encourage them to come to a conclusion by optimum number of ways of solving. And so there's the story that I share with them is how I was in high school, how we circumvent the rules to break into the gym to figure out what to go play. Get into the gym and play basketball on the weekends when it was locked up. So we had several ways that we could do that. So yeah, that was probably against the law, but I'm not everybody to do that. But
Whatever.
A little bit.
So of course, they love hearing stories like that. And so one time we broke into the gym. I'll give you the short version of the story. We got caught in the gym over spring break, camping out. We'd taken our sleeping bags and played basketball all night. We left. We were going to leave about 3 a.m. to go across the street to a 7-Eleven type store to get snacks and stuff.
Sure.
And on the way out of the door, the cop was looking for something else. Our gym was detached from the building, and so we couldn't have broken into the school. We didn't break into the gym. We got hold of our coach's key and duplicated it and got it back in his key ring from school one day. We ran to the hardware store, duplicated the keys, came back. That was before they had duplicate on the keys.
Sure.
Because he lived like 20 miles away, so he wouldn't come over to the gym for us. This stupid wife wanted him to stay home. We didn't understand that. So anyway, I had the key, and all of a sudden, there's always lights flashing in her face because a security guard, or actually a regular cop, had heard an alarm in the school. But we were in the gym anyway, flashlights flashing in her face. I was behind all my friends. I took the key and put it in there was a can of Coke there. I put it in the can of Coke, threw it behind the bleachers real fast. But then the cop shoved he didn't see me because I'd stepped to the side. He closed the door before I got over there. So I didn't get caught, my friends did. But they were worried about me and they were acting suspicious. He goes, is there any more in the gym? And then one go, oh, Brett's in there. So they came back and got me. But so the gratifying part of the story at the end, the cop took me home, woke up my mom at 3:30 in the morning or whatever it was. And my mom just started laughing. It's like, you're busting because he was playing basketball in the gym in the middle of the night. So she kind of laughed at the cop, and the school didn't end up pressing charges. They wanted to know how we got in, and we told them we had taped the door. And we weren't about to let them know.
Little Watergate.
We made keys.
Did you ever go back?
Oh yeah, we went back every Sunday to play ball. And I passed the key down to my cousins. For all I know, someone still has that key. I don't know.
So you went back and got the can of Coke and got it out of the can of Coke?
Next to that, when school opened back up. We were always in that gym. We were always playing basketball. We always made sure that we swept the floor and didn't leave any trash in there. We made sure that there wasn't any suspicion that we were in there. And so
Wow.
that was my sophomore year. Still had that key when I went off to college, and I still gave it to my cousins.
Wow.
And they kept going in the gym every Sunday. There would be like guys in there, but they didn't have security guards that came around to checks. You know, like
Yeah.
now it was detached, and so we went in on the side where there was woods on one side of the gym, and there was a door. No one would see you coming and going because there were no people on that side. The forest or woods was like 30 yards away, and there's nobody there. Anyway, so that is a gratifying in the use of the key.
Yeah.
Mine is as much as about content as it is about gadgetry facilitation. So it's just using it, and I do a better job at the beginning of the semester and sometimes at the end. In the middle it gets a little muddy, but using I have a pink Arapaho hat in a coat pocket that I use every day. And the hat I don't use as often at the end, but I call it the recap. So at the end of the class, I can pass this hat gently to somebody and they have to kind of revisit what we've done during class before we exit. And when I do it, it actually is, and I say, you can't say, I ask them what was important that happened in class. You can't say like, this person's books fell off or somebody texted, or I don't know. So it's got to be like substance. But it seems to be when I do it. But when I do it, and I'm not saying that about your story. I wish I had that story. But the substance of it can be sometimes powerful. And if I did a better job of maybe connecting, like I've kind of learned through our professor here, I think it could be a lot better if I actually institute it.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's good if I do it. But the problem is, like, I'm looking up, and there's like 30 seconds, and people had already been paying out. I'm trying to keep them.
So like your story running from rescue. Oops.
Other people do like tickets out, and I wonder if there's other things you could do that would actually, on the spot be workable and have that connectivity when it's necessary and meaningful for something. I think that could be pretty cool. And I wonder if at the end of the story is there something that you do or whatever, I don't know.
Well, I think about like fishbowl, like with fishbowl or Socratic stop, like we go right up to the bell and there's no real resolution as to what's happened in that class period. And I wonder do you stop early?
No. Well, I sometimes will, and we'll go around and just like, maybe we might do like a questioning series or, tell me one thing you took away, but I wouldn't say I'm great at resolution, but I don't think that when you think about like a satisfying end, in our content, there's so much ambiguity, and I don't expect my students to think the same way that I do,
Sure.
So for them to leave with their own purpose and intention and ideas of what they're taking away, and I don't always check that, but I don't know, I guess I could probably do a better job with it, but I kind of imply that with what we're learning. Like, we don't have to come to consensus together. Like, you, through the course of that collaboration or discussion, are taking away your own individual meaning, and sometimes you're going to leave feeling unsatisfied because you don't have questions answered, or it brought up more questions for you to think about. It frustrates you. So I think that can be a really cool lesson to learn as well. Because it keeps them thinking about stuff. It keeps them kind of like motivated.
Mhm.
Can't quote Romeo and Juliet. How can thou be so unsatisfied? I remember the right one. I don't know. Sorry
Well.
about that.
That's on.
I know.
Yeah, that was awesome. Should have zoomed in on that.
Because that's where Romeo, what is he jumps out, or I meant in the Zeffirelli version.
What
he jumps out.
satisfaction can't thou
Yeah,
have?
maybe
Right.
that's it, that's the one. So
Well, that leaves me so unsatisfied. Well, what kind of
And she's like,
satisfaction
whoa.
can I give you?
And then all the kids think that
Yeah.
we're talking about, but really he just wants to marry her.
Right, he's true to his noble intentions,
Yep, he's a
however.
good guy, that Romeo.
But he's known as, anyway.
The player. So let's move on to the vocal intonation video. Shall we?
Can we all do those exercises?
Yeah. You want to yawn?
Kind of a.
Well, her just talking about yawning made me yawn
Oh,
incessantly.
yeah.
If you click on the-
Today too, it's magical.
Contagious.
Yeah, it's like the summary.
Right here, I'll show you, look, view the course guide.
And look, they have that.
I thought it was right here, so
No,
I'm looking for it, and I was like, wow, because he always uses
Stand by
transcript.
me.
Yeah.
Course guidebook.
You could just,
That's good
If you
story.
don't want to listen to her.
So what about vocal intonation?
yeah,
sorry.
okay. So she said, check in with your body following the vocal physical warm-ups in this lection. Do you feel different following these stretches and warm-ups?
Yes.
I think it's weird to think about how different our job is than like most people's, a traditional business job, because you come in Monday morning and it's like, you have to be on.
Yeah.
First hour, and so, I mean, I don't do any of that stuff typically, but it is kind of weird that usually most, like my husband would just come into his office, sit down, turn on his computer, and he has like the next 4 hours that, I mean, that's all. he
Yeah, just
does.
see what-
Make phone
yeah.
calls and look at his computer screen, which, that sounds awful, but how different it is that, like, even in the shower, as I'm starting to get ready, I'm like, okay, I start going through like what my class is gonna look like, because you're like, you have to be on, so mine is more of, I guess, a mental, like, warm up or preparation, but yeah, you can't walk in and just, well, at least I hate the classes where I feel like I'm flustered or scattered or
Yeah, but you
didn't
get
have
3
time
months
to-
off in the summer, so.
And your huge paycheck.
Well, I'm not even saying, it's just interesting to think about how you definitely have to be like on when Monday at 7:15 hits.
Yeah.
You gotta go, you know.
Well, and there's some things that, I mean, with like a lesson that I've planned where I'm going to be telling a story, or I'm going to be reading one of my essays, or one of the essays that I read my American Lit students is, it's my essay of place, and it's about the death of one of my friends. But like one thing that we shared together was that we always, wherever we went, we always like sang together. So I sing, and when I kind of divert from my narrative and I share some of these like songs with them, but I will sing it. So I find myself, the night before with butterflies in my stomach, just kind of going through my songs, and I get so nervous before I'm like up there just shaking. But I mean, I don't, I will think about, I don't really do like voice exercises, but I'll think about how, with intonation and my enunciation of my words, and how I pause for more dramatic effect, or, how I'm telling my story. So I'll do that sometimes for like a particular lesson, but I don't sit there and do like tongue exercises.
I'm gonna have my kids do
I
it.
don't, but I will now.
I don't know, if you think about it, just like you said, like we perform all day, every day. It's not like we have unscheduled time, but that's when we're actually doing the work. But when we're in the classroom, we are performing, and we have to get buy-in from our audience. Otherwise, there's not gonna be much learning happening, in that class period. And I find it interesting jumping from performing for freshmen to performing for seniors, and going back and forth and what that kind of looks like. But you're absolutely right in the sense that we have to be ready to roll. And if you're not ready, the kids feel it, and then they respond in kind, I think.
I feel like first hour is always not my best. I feel like I just am not ready, and I try so hard to be, but sometimes until you've done it, just not ready.
Well,
Slow.
yeah, the best part of that story, the first period, they're not ready either.
That's true, they got
Yeah.
it. Like, oh, you suck today? Weird, I was asleep the whole time.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I had no idea.
But there is a lot of science to that too. So we are sitting here talking about how we have to get warmed up, and it's physical and your body and posture, and I do that with my kids. I will have I have halftime breaks, and I just have a bucket of like dollar store balls, and if we've been talking or sitting there listening, we just get up and like I give them a different challenge every single, today is volleyball. You got to serve it to your partner, or you got to catch it in your shirt, or you got to. But literally, it's like 3 minutes. But that 3 minutes is more valuable in bringing them back. Like I get more work right after that break than I do in trying to like push through it.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. Like we have to be warmed up, but there's a lot of power in getting them to be physical and stand up and move and warm up as well. So.
I guess I've never thought about that.
I mean, in talking about that, like they're not ready. They're not, because what are they just come in and sit there, like, so no wonder they're not engaged in.
So many of them that, especially freshmen, they're up till 2, 3 in the morning. I mean, their parents don't know that. They're up 2, 3, whatever it is they're doing, it's usually got to do with technology, whether they're texting friends or playing a game or whatever. And they're not reading their English and social studies, that's for sure.
No, they're not.
They're not, and they're not doing the math.
No.
That's because they're all doing biology.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
Right. Math problems.
Chemistry.
Woo!
Chemistry, you can- That's good, yeah, so.
This is so weird, but it made me think about it. I was thinking about all the different people that stood up in front of our in-service day meeting. It was just so many variety, all the art teachers stood up and but I was kind of just watching their posture and their stances as well, and not judging them or anything. It was just interesting, like, this one looks definitely more comfortable, this one looks a little more nervous, or put your shoulders back.
Could you tell I felt really good that day?
You sounded wonderful.
I felt wonderful.
So
You
you were all,
guys advisory and advisement, excuse me,
Whatever.
everyone stood up.
What is it?
It's advisement, according to Natalie. According to Daryl, it's advisory. So I'm just sticking with advisement because that's what the boss says.
I thought Daryl's speech was that an impassioned speech of like really, like it was really good to hear. He was talking about the heart and a bunch of other things. I thought were pretty cool for me to hear. On that, it's good. And obviously the other ones are good from our department to everybody kind of took turns in advisement and had different input and energy, and it was fun to watch kind of different deliveries on that.
I kind of wish that people had the opportunity to see, like the talk that Natalie gave to our link leaders was so powerful, and it was
Last year.
yeah, and so she talked about how she came to be the principal, like her whole journey to be a leader, and it's such a great story, and I look at Natalie different after hearing everything that she's done. She's like, I've prepared my whole life to lead this school. And it's really an interesting story, really engaging.
And the radio elements.
Yeah.
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 I had no idea. That was awesome.
Yeah. And I think that maybe we could learn a lot from hearing each other's stories on staff. Daryl has a pretty remarkable story to tell. I don't know if a lot of people know it, and so I don't know.
We were talking in our mentor meeting that, even after, even after the lockdown that we just recently had, wish we could have I even kind of said it, I wish we could have come together as a staff just to check in with each other and share things out. And that's one thing that I felt like we kind of missed after the, we really weren't, we talked to who we were comfortable talking with, but we didn't share our stories. We didn't share that discomfort that we felt and the bond with each other in that way. And I know some people aren't comfortable with that, but I don't know. I just felt like we should have checked in and, 'cause it's good for people to talk about, just, to go back and.
On the team and camaraderie too, just to,
that
I was like,
inclusion that you
hey, great
feel,
job.
community, yeah.
Well, and people hearing other people's stories oftentimes opens up a courage window that, okay, wow, I should share how I feel about this, because
Yeah.
you don't feel as uncomfortable. I still feel uncomfortable.
We did that on Thursday, actually, it's kind of weird.
You did
What's
it
that?
what?
We did that at lunch on Thursday. We just kind of, everybody, not everybody that was sitting at the table told their story.
Of the shooting?
Yeah, because it started out as a joke, like Karen was in the hallway and it was her birthday. Like she has a summer birthday, but we have this giant steak knife that we used to cut the cake. Well, she was on her way to wash it in the bathroom when everything went down. And at one point she opened the door and like chucked the knife in.
Into the office?
Yeah. So,
A flying knife.
well, yeah, flying knife, and then it's like sitting right in the view. So I'm like in this back office, like, and I knew it was there. And I was like, I should probably go move that because if there's a weapon on the floor, like that might change
Right.
the SWAT team's
Perception of,
of what they're coming into. So, but that was the big
Did you
joke.
move
Like,
it?
I did.
Okay,
Well,
sorry,
yeah.
I was like on the edge of my seat.
Well, no, I mean, but then we just started telling stories like,
How about the visitor in your office?
yeah, I was in there with a football rep. Like he was talking to Mike about helmets, and then
He's in a line.
he was in the lockdown during the shooting.
Yeah.
We saw the helmets.
yeah. So I was in there with him. We didn't know what he said. Where did Mike go? And I was like, I have no idea where Mike went. And then I remember sitting in that back office, and I was like, I don't know if our door's locked.
Oh, I think everybody thought that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It was.
Yeah, I checked mine twice and I still thought. like,
So I went out, and that was before we had the lock. So I was just joking about like it's really hard to do a lock when your hand was shaking. I was trying to get the key, and I'm like, yeah. But yeah. So we opened up, and it was good. And you understand people's state of mind. Yeah, I think it's good. I agree with you, Jess. Like that was a missed opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I was at Rock Canyon that year because my time had run out. And so I'm in the middle of class at Rock Canyon. And this kid who shouldn't have been on a cell phone, but he was, and he raised his hand. He was supposed to be, want to know this. I forget who the kid was, but he had a friend here who texted him that he was in a lockdown. There was a shooter at Arapahoe. So I knew it like within 2-3 minutes. And so there was a lady from the special ed at Rock Canyon that was in that room. And I said, I had to go talk to Andy Edner because I wasn't sure what Katie was here or not. And I was running down the hall, and what's Charlotte's last name? She taught Spanish here. Redheaded girl.
Oh yeah.
She was me. Was it me? Anyway, I ran her in the hall at the same time. She had just heard about it too. She was on the way to tell Andy. And me, she was coming down the hallway because the world language and math right next to each other at Rock Canyon. And so we both went and found Andy and told him. But Katie wasn't
That's cool.
class or something.
Friday.
But it was just, I mean, it was just minutes afterwards. I mean, because these kids with their cell phones, they're telling friends, they're telling their family. It's amazing, you know, how that kind of stuff can, the communication level we have now is just instant,
Yeah.
worldwide. And my sister is in England, and she saw Holly Schaefer on the news. She had met Holly when she was over here.
Oh.
Holly was one of my golfers, and
Weird.
Holly, she called me that night. She said, Holly's so impressive. She's so
Articulate.
spoken. It's like people might have thought she was a teacher, not a kid, the way they were to talk about it.
Bye.
Bye.
I think it's kind of tricky. I think that the shooting is kind of tricky because some people want to talk about it. You know, I'll tell my story, but some people very much don't want to talk about it. And, you know, I think it's hard to, like, I don't know what it would be like at our lunch table if we started, you know, some people would probably get up and leave because they wouldn't want to hear the stories, you know, whereas some of us would find it really therapeutic. I don't know.
After we had that, I think that Saturday gathering at the Krause Smith House. I mean, there were different stages, I think, of, you know.
I don't think I
our
was
staff
there.
to see, you
Was
know,
I? Was I at
That's
Disney
probably the
World?
case with lots of stories. If
Was I
you
there?
have story and your background of, if any of us come from alcoholic families or abuse or whatever, you don't have to be afraid to bring that up in front of kids, because the kids that are going through that, how would they react? Would they be comfortable because you're sharing that? And okay, well, they know what I feel like, or would a kid just be like, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
And so it is that level of comfort, and that's something with storytelling. The audience is often empathetic to the storyteller. It's the storyteller empathetic to the audience. But you don't know your audience sometimes, and so you don't know whether you're being empathetic or not. I was worried about that stuff of sharing too many things with kids.
That's part of it for 17, like a safe way to share the story. So part of that. I mean, that is one that's that's the right word, but definitely challenged sometimes to think about how being was a potential for that. I mean, I don't know, but I think that's an interesting thing. We probably battle quite a bit. If we read really the Joseph Campbell mythology instead of Edith Hamilton, people I think would be hanging on every word that would be inappropriate for class in terms of like the sexual content and all that. People would put the book down, and then then there's other. But so I think it's kind of interesting in the content area with at least literature. I'm sure history, the safe way to tell history, or I don't know that. I don't know what that is. So. But I look like 17. It's a little bit on that in terms of emotionally kind of get your audience in and safe too.
She asked, how can a small change in voice be to make a difference in characterization? I asked, do you change your pitch and energy depending on what you're delivering in class? Why? You say yeah. Why?
I think it depends on even within a given story, just like the point you're trying to get across and trying to get your audience engaged. And I like how she talked about that idea of getting very quiet, because that is because they're always like, well, that's when it kind of draws them in.
Yeah.
But I thought about a lot of that, like when telling different stories, how you can mix that up and draw in your audience and, gain empathy where you want to, or put a point of emphasis where you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do that. I do that now with storytelling to my son Cooper. So good practice.
Well, it's
Room
you wanting to evoke a particular mood in your audience, for them to feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I think we do that a lot. I know I do for various lessons.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Well, I think when we're excited about a lesson, we speed it up.
Like I'll feed off of them a little bit. Like if I can tell that they're waiting, then I need to step it up and bring them back. Like I'll kind of ebb and flow with them. So.
I'm pretty monotone in science fiction class. We have some pretty amazing stories. Like there's one where I actually break into song because it's this oracle kind of prophetic propaganda line, and it's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I start singing it, and then I stop. It's pretty funny because I'm laughing because I started. Anyway, I do a robot voice when there's a robot that sells itself to consumers and visits houses, and turn into a robot voice and do like different things. Like it's not funny, but try that. But it's a risk because it is a little goofy, but then other times I don't. But I do want to point out I do have 2 for 1 because C9 and C10 or C8, whatever it is, Brad Meyer, he's an amazing storyteller. Like kids are like, it's almost like he has an applause button. Like I'm serious, it's amazing. Like he can tell amazing stories. It doesn't disrupt our class, but I'm saying it's awesome because you can hear what he says. It's dynamic, and then kids are like engaged in an amazing way. Like I'm applauding his efforts there. So it's actually really cool if you ever get a chance to see his class. Like I haven't physically been in his class, in a long time. I may have been a long time ago, but hearing it is pretty amazing.
Teaching in C9, you feel like
it's 2 for 1. You're getting history English credit.
Who was the lady we had about 10 years ago? Frau, which is a German teacher. Yeah, and her room was right behind Paul Anderson's room, and Paul Anderson couldn't stand her being behind because he's like, here, and there's the wall, you know, he would try moving his desk but of course the blackboards were here and of course Paul was pretty monotone and like x squared plus 2x plus 27 back to this 4 meter. And I remember sitting in and observing him one time, I was like, oh my God. He was a great guy, but. and
I can see that.
He would did tests because one time I subbed for him and the kids were doing jump shifts. Like 50 problems, of all volume problems. Like problems like 9 of the same thing, you know, volume of the cylinder. And they could have a note card with them. So there's an going as fast as they could, trying to get the 50 volume. You know, like
Volume. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just volume of the cylinder. And all you would do is just change the height and the radius, and that's it. It's the same thing over and over again. You just give these massive homeworks, but they learned from him, you know, it was monotone and all this homework. But and when he would tell a story, though, I don't know if you guys knew him, really, he was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Really funny.
He gave one of the great retirement speeches.
Oh, yeah. He had the place
Oh,
rolling.
my goodness. That was
And he got his shots in at some people, including Proud.
But I do want to, I mean, I'm applauding Brad Myers, so I know this is on video there, I'm applauding his efforts. Good story.
I'm pretty sure he watches these for fun.
He does.
Probably,
He's gonna come
probably
guess
use
it.
the basis for one of his stories.
I feel, yeah. The NSA,
Well,
the ISIS.
Reardon plays Shakira every Friday afternoon next door. So we get a little Shakira concert next door, which is awesome.
Hey, you want to turn that camera?
Every Friday. Every Friday.
Yeah, he follows her on Twitter, and
And
it's
Oh, I'm
pretty
sure.
funny because of the golf thing.
we're all
They're gonna follow each other on Twitter, and he's hilarious. Whenever Shakira
He loves her.
does anything.
He loves her.
Oh, yeah.
She is pretty hot.
Mm.
We'll give her
My
that.
wife's not watching this yet.
I'm sure that's not the reason he follows her.
Pretty sure that is.
For sure.
Doesn't he have like a giant cutout in his classroom?
I think so.
Wait, what?
Let's go on a field trip and look.
I know, some kids were showing me, they like took pictures with it and never showing me.
You okay?
You hiding?
I'm sorry.
I got a lot of weird stories. That's pretty funny.
Let's tell them. I'm pretty sure he's gonna watch these two.
Well, one time.
Oh my.
Here we go.
Go, come on, this is really good.
You don't want me to tell you, or?
No, you
Oh, I do. I put it-
We're playing golf, and it's the very end of the round, and Liam and Rothshafer playing over at the links. Rothshafer's mother runs out, she lives right on the links golf course, she runs out with drinks for us about halfway through.
Nice.
Lemonades, but
It was on one of those days where you had, well, it was like this past Friday, you know, with Friday off.
Mm.
So we played in the morning, we had football at night. So Reardon goes in the water on number 18, it's about this far into the water. And so he doesn't have to walk very far. He decides, he takes his shoes and socks off, pulls up his slacks. It's about 60, 62 degrees. So we're on the 18th green. And so like, I'm over here and chip onto the green, and I have the shot of the day. My ball goes up and hits the pin and lands like this far.
Wow, nice.
But nobody sees it.
No, everybody's watching him in the
Because they're always
water.
watching him in the water. And that part's kind of. Here he is. He's only like maybe 30 yards from the green, but he swings so hard because he thinks the water's going to really slow him down. He catches the ball perfectly, hits it, it goes way over the green, and almost hits these old guys over in the fairway on number 1, like another 100 yards away. And
Wow.
Lehman falls out laughing. He's laughing so hard. And Reardon's
Oh, my tiger wood.
we're just all dying laughing. It just, he's, when he, and Wadsworth can just get him going. Just ask Wadsworth about what he does to Reardon in golf. He can make it go up like that, you know.
Oh, I've
Reardon's playing
seen
well.
that.
I'm beating you, Wadsworth. And then Wadsworth will say something. Next thing you know, Reardon hits one of the trees or.
I've seen him on the golf course.
He's not bad. He just gets in his own way. He's a Bears and Cubs fan. It ties them together. They find a way to lose in the end.
Yeah. All right, well,
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna turn this off.